happened at the primary, which was only 4 weeks ago.
I think he's vulnerable to
not always. All politics becomes a very localized event. So sometimes when you try to bounce out, I mean, I think Will kind of caught the establishment a little off guard for a lot of reasons. I mean, maybe had a bigger circle of friends, a little leaner, not as. I mean,
think Hillary,
I mean, he's
tying herself up last year.
I mean, obviously, I wanted the Republicans to win whoever it was at the time, but I mean, it was like an inside thing. Just one of those guys who thinks they're right. That said, he's done an okay job. But now you got a nice clean cut guy coming in, attorney, professional guy, smart, all those things. So it kind of overwhelms the other. Now, so if Will wins, it doesn't mean necessarily that he's vulnerable, but he's got to watch himself. He's now, so if Finn loses next week, he's going to have to work twice as hard to make sure that somebody doesn't run against him. But I don't know. I mean, how much is he? Would it be next year? Yeah. So you become vulnerable, Steve, if you lose the race. I mean, so right now, I mean, he's clearly losing the race. Finn is losing the race. And I think that so what has changed from the primary today? I mean, I assume Will has much more momentum, more supporters. I'm sure like woke the establishment up over there. I don't think they're migrating to Finn. You're probably going to have what's your turnout going to be? Do they even know? It's probably 25%, if that.
It's sad.
Yeah, so it becomes who's got the more motivated supporters. And generally, the challenger like Will has more motivated supporters because it's the first time out. You can already sense, there's blood in the water because he came in #1 in the primary, so they were getting more excited.
And he crushed him at the beginning.
400, 600, or was it whatever? I mean, it was huge. It's a hundred, yeah. It's huge. It's not like it was like 65 margin. It was substantial. It was more than a margin of victory in any regard. So I mean, I think he's been in the driver's seat. I met him.
Yeah.
He's the one.
He isn't one.
Why would I? Like, why would you not? Yeah, faculty, why you guys have it easy. My husband turned around and said, then how come so many people, like so many faculty go through and never get back out? If faculty's that easy, why aren't they going back out?
I couldn't get it. I mean, at my office.
Just going to hang on one second. We're trying to get one of the iPads, trustees' iPad working so that he has access to the material.
Nice kids.
The morning, no, because the morning here.
Judge,
You know that.
I love the colors. I love your sweater.
That's the first compliment I've received.
I think it looks handsome.
Second compliment. Thank you.
How's your family?
You're doing very well. Just so that we can be consistent.
Hi. Okay.
And if it's any longer than 5 minutes, you can go. That's where that tells me a lot.
So what you said? Oh, I thought you said 14. Hi, Matt. How are you?
Doing well.
How's it going?
Missed the bus over here, so
Yes, she's got it.
Terrell and I started with that. You know what I got? I mean, it was really shocking. It was here. It was a really big story. They really shared it. They shared it all the legislators. Really good. Good idea. They're going to baby. 7 pounds, 4 ounces. Yeah, somebody called me. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the special meeting of the Board of Trustees. We have a number of items on our agenda. Obviously, we have an important discussion that will occur just a little bit later. We're going to run through one other agenda item and 2 others that are going to be moved to the December meeting. So I do want to announce that Linda Slakey is participating remotely due to geographic distance. And she is with us, as you can see, those of you that are close enough to see, she's with us via Skype. I also want to announce that Adele Gamelli had a baby boy. So on behalf of the board and everyone here, we send our best wishes to Adele and her family and baby Ian. So, thank you. And Azanda, thank you, is graciously helping us out today, as she has been right along through the process. So let us start. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes from the August 18, 15 special meeting, October 5th, October 13th, and October 15th special meetings of the Board of Trustees. Those minutes are not completed yet, so unless anyone has an objection, I'd like to move those over to December to be voted on. Any objection to that? No. I don't think we need a vote. Also, number 3 is the presidential evaluation. I had hoped to have a draft evaluation for you that you would have reviewed and we would have voted on today. I have not completed that, so in all likelihood, we're probably going to, I'll draft it. Bob Martin and I will review it with Liz Preston and then send it out to you for your review and comments, assuming that those comments will all be incorporated in some fashion. Then I believe it makes sense to have the executive committee meet to vote on them to be ratified by the full board at the December meeting. Again, is there any question about that or any concerns? Terrific. So why don't we begin with the Juniper Park funding, and I'll ask Kevin Queenan, who is the chair of the Finance and Capital Asset Committee, to present that.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I want to thank the committee members this morning for showing up with relatively quick notice to address this issue that we've been working on as an institution since 2013. We do have some brief synopsis of the information Kim will provide it to us relative to some monies needed to begin phase 1 of the project. We're all aware that a few years ago we have already budgeted $1.6 million for the project, so that's already in the queue. But Kim is going to outline a very conservative approach for the next step. And Kim, if you could overview that, please.
After university planning related to the use of the Juniper Park space, the project cost for what we'd like to do with the building is $3.8 million. We are comfortable with it's 1.8 that we believe sits in what was prior approved as capital expenditures for the campus, including the 1.6 for the Juniper Park project in September 2013. We're requesting the board to approve $2 million of university trust funds to be dedicated to that project in order to complete it in line with the planning that we've done for the use of the space.
So we had a number of discussion points earlier this morning, all of which revolved around making sure that our financial commitments moving forward, both this fiscal year and next, are taken into account. As Kim and her team put together the information and the financial strategy, they erred on the side of being extremely conservative. So we are very optimistic that, and we're very comfortable that the numbers will work within the confines of our budget and within the objectives of Juniper Park on phase 1. Any discussions? Or any further discussion? Let me read the motion and we'll proceed with any discussion if necessary. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the expenditure of university trust funds up to $2 million to complete the general park renovation project for Phase 1 only. So this is only Phase 1.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further I'm sorry, that's you.
Thank you. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Actually, it may need to be roll call.
Oh, I believe it does need to be roll call. Thank you, Bob.
I probably count as participating remotely here.
Yes, you do. So we will start that roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Connolly?
Yes.
Hagan?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Landgraf?
Yes.
Marcus?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Perez?
Yes.
Queenan?
Yes.
Slakey?
Yes.
Scheibel?
Yes.
And Madam Chair, the last just topic would be, you should have all received, if you haven't, you'll get one at the end, the timeline for the budget process as we move forward during this fiscal year. I would encourage, we'll have some in-depth discussions on this in December, both at the subcommittee meeting and at our board meeting, but I would strongly encourage participation by the board as we move forward in this process, year number 2.
Kevin, did you see the extras and those?
I don't,
I'll get them for you.
Kim will get them
Sure you
and
want them.
pass them out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you. And,
Okay.
Madam Chair, that's it for the subcommittee. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is the selection of Westfield State University's 20th president. I know this is a very exciting time for Westfield, but before we begin the discussion, just a couple of things. I want to notify you that we have received word that Damian Fernandez, who's obviously a finalist in the search, has withdrawn from the search. As a result, he is not a part of today's discussion and vote. Therefore, we have 2 candidates for discussion and a vote, Linda Vaden-Goad and Ramon Torresia. Before we begin, I want to be sure that everyone knows that in accordance with the open meeting law, the BHE guidelines and procedures for the search, selection, appointment, and removal of state university and community college presidents, and on advice of counsel, our discussion will be held in public. The BHE guidelines and procedures specifically state, in accordance with the open meeting law, the Board of Trustees shall vote to recommend the appointment of a president in open session with a quorum present. The vote should be conducted by roll call with the chair of the board voting last. The vote is, of course, by a majority vote. Let me begin by saying that I want to again publicly thank Search Committee Chair Steve Marcus, Trustee Marcus, and the members of the Search Committee for their work in bringing forward to us the candidates for selection. I also want to thank Del Gamelli, who very much wanted to be here and missed the mark by 2 days, as well as Xanda Seymour for all of their extraordinary work in this. It required, I used the word extraordinary already, and you'll forgive me if I use it again, because it required an extraordinary commitment of time and energy on the part of the search committee, as well as Adele, Xanda, and many others on campus. So thank you for that. It is truly appreciated. And I also, before we begin, just want to acknowledge and thank Liz Preston, interim president of Westfield, who came in at a time when we desperately needed leadership, stability, strength of character, and we received that from Liz, and this institution is in a better place because of Liz Preston. I want also think it's important to note and to be clear about this, because there was some confusion around it. Liz was not able to be a candidate, not by choice, but because of BHE guidelines. And so for that, at a personal cost to herself, she took on the role of interim president. And again, for that, we're very grateful, Liz. Thank you. Let me now just call on Trustee Steve Marcus, Chair of the Search Committee, to begin the discussion.
Madam Chair, I just want to thank you for your leadership, and really I want to turn to the members of the Search Committee. It's been 40 weeks, almost enough to grow a beautiful little baby like we just had. And you know, 40 weeks of hard work and 40 weeks of preparation, great due diligence. I want to thank the members of the team. We've grown close on this. We've worked hard on this, and it's been, I think, a very, very good process. And today we have our two candidates to be able to vote for. So, you know, as chair of the Presidential Search Committee, thank you all for your hard work.
Okay, who would like to begin the discussion?
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair, and I want to reiterate both what Trustee Marcus and the Chair indicated relative to President Preston. Just done an outstanding job in a very initially difficult environment, and thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. I also want to thank Madam Chair for her leadership, and Trustee Marcus for his, and also the entire committee. I thought it was 40 years, not 40 weeks, but it seemed like 40 years at times, I'm sure, to the committee. So thank you very much. I know a lot of time and effort went into it. I appreciate all of the feedback that I received. I've tried to focus on some people that really I appreciate their insights, their opinions, and their effort, both personally and professionally. So thank you very much. Before this started, I tried in my own mind to get a process in my head so that I could make a decision based on the facts and based on what I felt would be best for the institution. I think that's what we all, I think in our own minds, had to do. And I decided early on that I had 2 or 3 things that I needed to do. I wanted to go to the faculty each presentation that the potential candidates gave to the faculty. I wanted to see the interaction. I wanted to see the dynamics between a potential candidate, potential president, and the faculty, and faculty back to the potential candidate. And also, a lot of importance was here as we interviewed them, and then as we went over and had a quiet dinner. And by the way, great question on the elevator. I am going to use that, and if anyone missed it, get it from Justin, because he did a great job following up. So it was a learning experience for me. So thank you very much, Bob and Justin. So as I distilled down, I just had the opportunity to fly west. I had 5 hours on the plane going out and 5 hours coming back. So I distilled down all my notes and tried to come up with what I thought would be best for the institution from my perspective. And I think Dr. Vandergoed brought a lot of energy to the campus, brought a lot of enthusiasm to the campus. I don't know how she got done, all she got done in her professional career and still going, and I was really impressed with that type of enthusiasm. But when I stopped to think about and reflect on Dr. Torchella, he impressed me from day one. I was impressed with his approach, with his vision. He talked a lot about shared governance, talked a lot about the structure of the institution, changing expectations, things that I think are relative to our university today as well. I loved his discussion about budget numbers and how numbers talk to him. That's near and dear to my heart, as most of you know. I think he put some importance on town gown, which we all need, in communication within our geographic area. Candidly, he had a little edge to him that I liked. And I like somebody coming in with a little edge. And I say that in a positive sense, not a negative sense. He certainly, if anyone saw him, came to campus prepared. Probably as prepared as anybody we talked to. I don't know about the subcommittee or the search committee, but I'll tell you, he was prepared and he knew what he was talking about. And as I thought about what I was looking for in terms of a candidate, certainly academic excellence, leadership is critical at this time to continue with what President Preston has done. A solid financial background, near and dear to Bob's heart in our elevator speech, and whatever Bob grilling him and Justin on fundraising and the importance that we have to place on fundraising as an institution moving forward. As the state monies basically become harder and harder to get. And lastly, the 5 elements, the last one would be community involvement. So as I put all of those together, I am certainly going to vigorously support Dr. Torchella in his efforts. And by the way, I loved his response to your elevator speech. I thought he did an excellent job, and I want him in Boston standing by that elevator just waiting for somebody to show up, because he clearly had the right approach. And on a what I would call a soft side, I think certainly I think he'll work well with people. I think he'll work well with all of the disciplines within the institution, students, faculty, staff. And he truly cares about student success, and at the end of the day, that's what we're all here about. He cares deeply about student success. And as I outlined the requirements, I wasn't looking for somebody who was going to come here and practice or get to train in what some of those things are, like leadership and academic excellence. I think he has a track record of success in his past life. And I think he's committed, underscore the word think, I think he's committed to this institution. And I think he'll do an excellent job for all of us, most importantly the students as well. And I think we as a board have a challenge to make sure that we work with him and challenge him if he's selected to make both us better and him better and the institution. So Madam Chair, that's how I see it from my perspective. Thank you. Kevin.
I agree with Kevin. I thought Dr. Torres did an excellent job in his presentation. I thought he was a top-notch candidate. I, too, was looking at many of the characteristics that Kevin shared. I felt that Dr. Torres was well-prepared, thoughtful in his responses to questions. He's experienced. He articulated a vision for this campus and for this university going forward. I thought that his communication skills were excellent. I think that he'll work collaboratively with the faculty, staff, administration, the Board of Trustees, the community, all those points that you outlined, Kevin, and those stakeholders in this university, the students being the most important. I thought that his background was unique. I thought it was interesting to hear how he grew up, how he came to this country, and how he really fought to gain an education and to gain knowledge in the ways of higher education. I think he'll be, again, as Kevin articulated, a spokesperson in the State House for funding that's much needed on this campus. I think he'll have an ability to work with the development group, Mike Knappick and his staff, going out and meeting with alumni, and again, perhaps larger donors, getting the science hall up and running. I think he is committed. I think that was one of the questions that I had. You know, I've been around the campus a long time. I really would like someone who would be committed to this university, to the students, to the staff, and faculty certainly, and someone who cares about this community. I believe that Dr. Torres would be the choice. He's certainly the choice.
Thank you.
Madam Chair. I remember the day that I was took the oath, sworn in to being a Board of trustee member at this great university. And the gentleman that swore me in said, the most important thing that you can do as your role at Westfield State is to be able to vote for a new president if that comes during your tenure. So I always remembered the words that Mr. Sullivan said to me when he swore me in with Terrell that day. So I took this exceptionally seriously. 40 weeks of hard work, looking at all of these different candidates, being able to do the airport interviews, being able to end with the interview with the Commissioner of Higher Ed. Dr. Torricella is someone who I'm going to support. He's someone who I think is going to be able to take our campus to a level that it needs to be taken to. I looked him squarely in the eyes and talked about honorable, ethical leadership, because those were and those are my important things in a leader. He says to me that he is an honorable, hardworking, ethical man who starts his day with meditation, prayer, and reflection. That's how I start my day. And I think if he can take those transferable skills that he has and bring them to Westfield, that will even be a better place. So I was thankful to be involved from day one, and thankful today to support his candidacy.
Thank you, Trustee Marcus.
I would be happy to add my thanks to those to those who preceded me. And I also want to add a note of thanks to all the members of the community who took the time to meet with the candidates and who took the time to respond and provide feedback to the search committee and ultimately to the board about their impressions. I found those responses illuminating. And while I can't say that they were entirely unanimous, they did, I think, present a pretty good picture of how the community at large responded to each of those people, and was certainly helpful to me in considering how I would approach the vote for these candidates. Like my colleague to my left, I think probably the most important criterion for a successful president is integrity. And I think both of our final candidates demonstrate that in spades. And in that respect, I believe that the university would do well with either of them. I also think it's important that a new president be a leader who is capable of collaborating and bringing the institution with him or her. Leadership doesn't mean anything if you're out in front and no one is behind you. And I had the sense from both candidates that they were sensitive to that, and that they would lead and make sure that people were behind them, that neither of them was a top-down person, although I think both had strengths in terms of being able to make decisions when decisions needed to be made. Ultimately, for me, my choice is largely dictated by the ability to articulate a vision, to communicate a vision, and to energize people to join in that vision. And in that regard, I think Dr. Torricella is the stronger candidate. He articulated a vision which I found intriguing. And I will say I don't necessarily entirely support it, and I would gather from the feedback that I read from members of the community that others didn't necessarily support it either. But I have confidence in his ability to work with members of the community to shape that vision so that it's a collective view and not the view of one person. So for those, and I think he presents very well, so for those reasons, I will support Dr. Torresia.
Thank you. Bob.
I'd like to add my thanks to both Liz and to the selection committee for the work that you've done. I'll also add that I'm personally disappointed that I'm not able to vote for Liz today, that she was not able to be a candidate. I think she's done a phenomenal job. I've served as an interim president. I know what that can be like. And I did it in a much smaller organization. She came in at a difficult time and did things in a very, very honorable way. I believe that Dr. Van Vaden is enormously capable, highly experienced, energetic, and dedicated administrator. Her knowledge and experience in the area of shared governance and strategic planning is exceptional. And I think she's a highly dedicated individual. I also believe that Dr. Torricelli has the experience, the knowledge, the perspective, the vision, the intellect, the affect, the temperament, the determination, and the value set to take Westfield State to the next level and beyond. He came to us thoroughly prepared, having conducted the necessary research to speak intelligently about our mission and our vision for achieving the goals put before us. If he does that kind of research for every encounter, I think we can expect great things. He's a man of courage and conviction, and I believe he has the capability to learn and learn quickly those things which he may be lacking. I believe that he has the ability to be an outstanding college president. And for those reasons, my support will be for Dr. Torricelli.
Thank you, Bob.
Before I begin my elaboration on what my colleagues had said, I just wanted to thank the board, the search committee, and the Westfield State community for allowing me to be a member of the selection process of the 20th president of Westfield State University. This is personally an experience that I will be able to take with me throughout my entire career and life, so thank you. Going off on what my colleagues have said, more towards a student perspective, I believe that Dr. Torresia was a perfect role model for students here at Westfield State University. His background was a very inspiring story. When he approached us here on our campus, he was honest, approachable, passionate, and motivated. Again, I'll use passionate. He's passionate for student success through working with community, fundraising, to faculty and student research, and how together we will govern this university. Incredibly prepared on when he came in. The university, I learned more about the university during his visit than I knew. So I stand behind Dr. Torresia for the selection of the 20th president. I believe he will be a great fit for the university.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
If we can just hang on a moment, we have Kim Morrison, who is the search consultant, joining us should we have any questions. She literally just flew into the Philadelphia airport, so she's going to join us.
Hi, this is Kim Morrison.
Hi, Kim. It's Betsy Scheibel. How are you?
I'm fine, Betsy. How are you?
I'm fine. You are connected to the special meeting of the Board of Trustees. All 11 trustees are present, as is a room full of committed and interested Westfield State campus constituents.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us. We have begun the conversation, so you're going to step in, or you're going to be hearing some additional comments from those trustees who have not spoken yet, and then we can catch up and let you know where we are. Okay?
Thank you.
Sure.
Yep, thank you.
So, for those members who have not had a chance to weigh in yet. Oops.
Betsy, as you know, I didn't have the opportunity to meet Dr. Torricelli, so I've been really heartened by the things that I've heard people say. I think one of the things that struck me just in studying his CV, he's obviously taken on some challenging assignments. And while sometimes when people move to a place for only a couple of years and then move on, it raises a flag, I was really struck by the fact that Mills College wanted him back, so to speak. Sort of when the next round of problems arose, they clearly made an effort to get him back and to give him again the authority of the provost's office. So that reassured me about that aspect of the CV, and I have been really struck by the comments that all of you have made that had the opportunity to meet him. I'm sorry I missed that opportunity, and I will look forward to having an opportunity to work with him. Did all that come through? Sometimes the auditory hasn't been complete when I've heard you speaking.
You are nice and clear.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so
I will say one more thing. I had a question about process, Betsy. I know that we're sending a recommendation of one person to the Board on Higher Education. Sometimes deals don't get concluded. How do we handle? I mean, it's lovely if this ends with an agreement, but if the negotiations for some reason fall short, how do we make a judgment about whether the second candidate can be lived with? Sort of how is the communication about that handled?
I don't have a hard and fast answer for you, Linda, because the BHE guidelines and procedures indicates that we're to put forward one name, and to, I assume, when we come to, if we come to a consensus, that the motion will also read that the chair of the board is authorized to begin the negotiations. So I think that is the procedure in conjunction with BHE or the commissioner. So I don't have an answer, and that's something that I think we'll certainly be looking into contemporaneous with our efforts to move forward on negotiation with one of the candidates should we reach that point. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be evasive, I just don't have a specific answer for you. Anything else, Linda?
No, that's fine, thank you.
Great.
all right.
Madeline.
So I too want to thank everyone that was involved in this process. It's definitely a learning opportunity for me. Where I see Liz playing a role with the next president is some great collaboration going on. So I don't think that he's just going to fill that seat and not work collaboratively with everyone. The other thing that I've noticed is that he will bring this energy not only internally but externally. And I too did not have a chance to meet him personally, but from what I read, it almost seemed like the comments provided, he was already president of Westfield State University. So I mean, all the comments were so positive. The other thing is that in what I read, he has this opportunity to welcome diversity to the future of Westfield State, which has been a topic for everyone at this table. So my vote would be for el Dr. Ramón Silha.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I want to say that, I really was upset the last 6 weeks with my job being so busy, but as my colleague said, this was 40 weeks. One thing I want to say to the committee members, I want to publicly thank them. There is no way any candidate would be at this table right now on our slate if it weren't for this committee, and please, no one out there think that you got or a candidate got to this table very easily. This committee, man, I don't know. I'd be a little nervous. But these are some serious people. And one of the things that I did learn, these people are very, very, very committed to Westfield State University. I thought I loved the school, but you listen to the folks on the committee, and you realize that the people aren't just working here. It really matters. That being said, I interview people daily for a living. It's not a science. I consider it to be an art. But Dr. Torresia, when I had the chance to interview him with the committee, I was floored. And I say it all the time. I really get impressed. You meet all kinds of people. All right, you're just a person. But this gentleman came across the country, as Justin said. He talked about Westfield, not just the college, but the community. Talked about the region as though he was already here. And one of the things that I try to stress to my staff when we're looking at folks, I'm not really impressed with your GPA and all that other stuff. I know it's important. Students do not say, he said it's not important. But I want to know that you did your homework. And very often I see lots of folks who sit in front of me and they're really just trying to fluff their way through off the job description's terminology. But for someone to do their homework about the institution or the organization to which they aspire to work with, that's very important to me. And his level of knowledge was far and above anyone else that I had the opportunity to meet with. And I also believe that his integrity and his passion was legitimate. And that's something that I personally looked for coming into besides the fundraising. So we want somebody with some integrity, but I need you to raise some money too. So I think that this person is the candidate for this school at this time, and that's where my support will be.
Thank you.
Judge?
I sat here, I've listened to everybody, and I'll echo everything that I agree with everybody has said, and I'm glad I'm the last speaker, besides you.
Second to last.
Second to the last. But usually as a judge, you always have the last word.
The lawyer gets the last word.
He was exactly the prosecutor of all people. So I wanted to be the last because I wanted to hear everybody's what their impressions were. We usually never able to talk to each other about any of this stuff. So to me, I wanted to sit last. I wanted to hear everybody to say what they felt about this Ramon, because he wanted us to call him Ramon. And Ramon, everybody is unanimously voting for Ramon today because of who Ramon is. Ramon, as Jim said, his life, his personal life, was so impressive. Coming from foreign land in terms of where he grew up in Brazil and Puerto Rico and being a migrant worker and struggling to make his personal development in education and have that passion, as Justin said, that he wanted to have that passion about being educated because that's what he felt that his life was bringing him to. And then he said one very important thing, he's ready to take on this challenge. That impressed me more because he says, I want this job. And he prepared himself for this job. And I thought that was stunning to me because he wanted the job. He came across very intelligent, very articulate, and being, he's going to be the 21st president of our college is a plus for us. We're creating an environment here for diversity that we've not seen before, just as an image. Not that we're not doing anything about diversity, we are doing something about diversity. But as an image sake, we're moving forward to the 21st century. And so I was very impressed by him. I hope this historical choice that we're making will be, that history will tell us that we make the right decision. Because it's uneasy. To me, it's uneasy to make this type of decision because we want a person, and I look at a list, and we've dealt with this now for a while, and I'm saying, I'm looking for a person that I know will continue continue what she has set forward. And so I don't want a person to come in and say, this is my way and nobody else's way. I want a continuity of what has taken place in the last few years here with all the struggles that we went through. And so I think Ramon will be an excellent candidate for that purpose. And he's a strong candidate in every way, and I think everybody has said it. So that's why I wanted to be the last, but I'm not going to be the last.
Unfortunately, today you don't get to be the last, but very eloquent, and of course, I've had the benefit, as we all have, of having heard all of the comments. Pardon me if I repeat some of it. I'll try to be brief, but I was impressed in Ramon's opening statement right out of the block. He spoke about a vision for Westfield, the Westfield experience, and you know that there always needs to be input from all of the different constituencies and working together for this vision. But he had a vision, and that was the purpose of that opening statement, was to just throw it out there. Tell us what you think we ought to know out of the gate. And I think of all of the candidates, his right out of the block was of a vision, spoke of a vision. He was extremely well prepared, knowledgeable about Westfield, has been said a number of times. I also want to add he was enthusiastic, energetic, thoughtful, clear, and I think concise. I think we all love his personal story. I think it's just incredible and inspirational, and will be helpful as we move forward. He has a deep commitment to students. He understands and respects shared governance, clear and regular communication, and the need to build consensus, which is important. I believe he has the integrity, has been said by a number of different trustees. I loved his quote in his cover letter that the president is the chief storyteller in residence, who broadens and deepens the university's relationship to not only students and faculty, administrators, staff, but legislators, alumni, friends, and supporters. I also thought his answer to Bob Johnson's elevator question was excellent, and you know, someone lucky enough or unlucky enough to be with him in that elevator is going to get what Westfield is about, and that's what I would hope. I also read every single piece of feedback, every word of every thing that was written, and I appreciate everyone's input and everyone's time and energy in doing that. And I think that informed, I know it informed me, I believe it informed all of my fellow trustees in that. And for that, I am eternally grateful. Linda Vaden-Gode has an extraordinary amount of experience, and she has some huge pluses. She knows the Massachusetts system. She knows the Mass higher ed system, and she has a strong sense of commitment to her institution, as evidenced by the length of time she's at an institution and how she's involved, and has excellent qualities, and I thank her for participating in this process. But for the reasons outlined above, outlined by the other trustees, and particularly, let me quote Kevin Queenan, but Ramon's commitment to academic excellence, leadership, solid financial background, fundraising, and community involvement, I think puts him right at the top. So I'm pleased to join every one of the other 10 trustees in supporting Dr. Ramon Torcia for our next president, our 20th president. So with that, at this point, I would entertain a motion, and then we'll need to have a roll call.
Well, you were the chair, so you ought to do it.
Madam Chair, our motion to approve Ramon Torsella, PhD, as the 20th President of Westfield State University. The board shall authorize the chair of the Board of Trustees to negotiate with Dr. Ramon Torsella the terms of appointment. Dr. Torsella will forward it to the Commissioner Carlos Santiago and the Board of Higher Education for final approval on December 1st, 2015.
Second.
Second by Judge Perez. Is there any further discussion? I would ask for a roll call.
Trustee Connolly?
Yes.
Egan?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Landrow?
Yes.
Marcus?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Perez?
Yes.
Queenan?
Yes.
Slakey?
Yes.
Scheiber?
Yes. Congratulations. Kim, great big thank you to you for your involvement in this. Our next step is, particularly today, coming just off of a plane from the West Coast. So thank you so much for your involvement. We will be back in touch with you shortly. I want to thank the trustees for your commitment, as always, and again, the search committee for the terrific work that was done, and all of you for being here today. Judge Perez.
I just want to say something about Kim. The professionalism that she has afforded us and through this process was an amazing task. And on behalf of the search committee and the Board of Trustees, I'd like to thank her for her commitment to us, and because it was not easy. It was a very complex situation. The debates were very complex, and she handled it very, very well. And so I want to make sure that it's on the record that she did an outstanding job to make this outstanding decision that we made today. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
It was my pleasure.
Is there anything you'd like to say, Kim? Anything else?
No, I think this was a wonderful committee. I think you did a terrific job. I think this was a good search process, and I hope that we will be able to see it through the finish line. And I'm optimistic that that will indeed happen.
Terrific. Thank you so much. Linda, thank you for participating via Skype. We really appreciate you being involved. I think it was important for the Westfield State community and beyond that we have a full complement here as we did, and I know that was not easy for you, so thank you so much for that. We'll see you soon.
You're welcome. I wouldn't have missed it. It was very, particularly since I didn't have an opportunity to meet the candidate, it just helped enormously in thinking about it, since I was just looking at what was on paper for one candidate and had met the other. So I'm very glad I was able to participate.
Fantastic. Thank you. So if there is no further business before the board, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much. All right.